The Archdiocese of Chicago is a vibrant and diverse faith community. We celebrate our faith through worship, evangelization, and reaching out to the needy. Welcome to Catholic Chicago.
5 seconds left. 106-105 Indiana. DeMar DeRozan with 2 seconds. He's got a hustle. Comes up shooting for the win. Got it! Onions, baby Onions! Ball game over! Bulls win! Bulls win! Bulls win! DeMar DeRozan has won the ball game for the Bulls.
Good morning. Welcome to Catholic Chicago. I'm Father Greg Zakowicz. To my left is Mark Teresi. I have to say that was a great play-by-play by our guest, Chuck Swirsky. And good morning, Mark. How are you?
Very good, very good. Let's talk a little bit about our campaign, how we're doing.
Thanks to many, many parishioners at Holy Cathedral. Our cathedral campaign now sits at $10.8 million pledged. Our goal is $12 million. So people have been very, very, very generous. Please feel free to give. You can contact Regina Zielinski at the cathedral. I've just been overwhelmed by the goodness of people regarding the structure of the cathedral, endowment, and generation campaign. So that's kind of a good little summary.
And that's a great summary. And I'd also say watch our website. One of the events coming up is our International Rosary. It's in October, but it represents many, many parishes throughout the Archdiocese.
Exactly. And so the reason we had that clip of Chuck Swirsky is because he is our wonderful guest this morning. But I'm going to begin this way. Chuck Swirsky is an award-winning NBA announcer who has spent the last 25 years calling games for the Chicago Bulls and the Toronto Raptors. Chuck began his professional broadcasting career in 1976 after graduating from Ohio University. He later served as sports director at two major radio stations, WGN here in Chicago and WJR in Detroit. In Chicago, Chuck called basketball play-by-play for DePaul University and the Chicago Sting Soccer Club, along with hosting pre- and post-game shows on the Chicago Cubs and the Chicago Bears radio network. In addition, Chuck did the television play-by-play for Northwestern University football and handled public address for the Sting, Bulls, and the Cubs. He has been inducted into the Chicagoland Sports Hall of Fame, the Illinois Basketball Coaches Hall of Fame, and the WGN Radio Walk of Fame. So without any further ado, Chuck Swirsky, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Welcome.
And by the way, the National Bobblehead Hall of Fame. Of all the halls of fame, it's the bobblehead. So you're really talking to a live bobblehead.
That's what I forgot. And the bobblehead was, what, about 3-4 years ago?
Yes.
Is that Wisconsin?
It is Wisconsin.
What town? Give it a hype.
I don't know.
Oh,
I wish you caught me off guard.
well,
there.
look it up
That's
online.
That's why I'm a bobblehead.
the bobblehead. And but you've got an incredible background. Also, Chuck is incredibly involved at the cathedral. Chuck is a lector, a tremendous lector, minister of communion, a daily communicant. And just go back to that clip, though, for a second. That was part one.
Yes.
Explain both games.
Well, there were back-to-back game-winning shots by DeMar. This probably happened 3-4 seasons ago. And so it was New Year's Eve, and you saw the clip with the Bulls beating Indiana. So we're playing in a back-to-back, meaning that we have a game the next night. And we opened up that season, January 1st of the calendar year, in Washington, D.C. And DeRozan hit a game-winning shot from the left corner.
Exactly. He drilled it.
He drilled it right in front of the Washington bench. So,
Just
Happy New Year.
now young people watching, you have, in many ways, for people who know you, have a dream job.
Yes, I do.
How did you get there?
Well, you know what? Actually, it's quite simple. I paid them. No, you know what? This is what I wanted to do since I was a little boy. I mean, seriously, This is what I wanted to do since I was a kid. And
now, you were raised in Seattle?
I was raised in Seattle, and actually I got a break because my mom's brother, my uncle, was a brother of Mary in the religious order in Baltimore, at Marinus. And he did a lot of work with the Archdiocese of Baltimore, ran the scholastic end of things in Baltimore for the Catholic order. And what happened is he did a lot of fundraising, including getting to know a family by the name of Bagley, B-A-G-L-I, Vince Bagley, who was the dean of Baltimore sports. I would stay with him and his family during every summer. And I'd go to Orioles games. I go to Baltimore Colts practices when they were in training camp.
What years now we're talking?
This is, you really want to know? This is 1966, 67, up until midway in college.
So you saw those great Baltimore Oriole teams.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, the first time, this is a bizarre story. So I'm 13 years old, and I'm in the living room. It's about 10 in the morning. I'm in the living room of the Bagley family. And all of a sudden, you hear this knock on the door. Vince, let's go, our tea time. And he walks in the door, through the door, and it's Brooks Robinson.
Oh, wow.
And I'm
Third
thinking-
base.
And for those of you
Wow.
who don't know Brooks Robinson, you can Google one of the all-time great players, Hall of Fame player at third base, the human vacuum.
Yeah. The human vacuum cleaner.
Yes.
So you met Brooks Robinson. He came walking in the door.
Oh, I got to meet Brooks Robinson all the time.
Amazing. What a story.
Especially, then of course, he retires and he went into broadcasting. So he would come to Chicago with the Orioles, and I would see him and talk to him. He was a great person.
I have to share this with you. Your love for sports, going back to childhood to be a sportscaster, is exactly what I wanted to do. When I was a little boy, I loved sports coming from Chicago. You were in Seattle. And my goal was to be play-by-play of any sport. But interrupted in there in first grade, beside sports, was a calling to priesthood. And it was always in the back of my mind, priesthood. But all through grammar school, especially through high school, like you, to be a play-by-play sportscaster, like you, having loved sports. And I thought, this is what I want to do. But the Lord had a different direction. But it's amazing to be able to live out your dream. And then, now WGN for you started in what year?
Late 81.
No.
81 until 94.
And then from Chicago, then Detroit.
Hey, yes.
Give us a little behind the scenes, because I enjoyed so much when you were on radio with the team.
Huh?
What was that like? What was that team like?
Are you talking
with-
GM radio
Yeah,
with
GM.
Bob Collins and
Yeah,
Roger
yeah,
Terpstra?
yeah.
And I mean,
We
it
really
was-
enjoyed the back and forth.
Well, you know what? That's called chemistry,
Mm-hmm.
and organically it just grew and grew. And I mean, Father Greg, of course, with his father, a legend in Chicago, by the way. But here's the bottom line. I mean, if you have a great radio team that they buy in and they check the ego at the door, it's almost like from the standpoint of any sports teams, you're going to have a winning team. You've got to have skill, you got to have talent, you have to have the proper abilities to get the job done. You can't win without great players. I mean, you got to have the best coach in the world, but if you don't have talent, you're in trouble.
Right.
Well, in the case of WGN back in the day, Bob Collins was the guy. And Wally Phillips had left an indelible mark in mornings. And then Bob shifted from afternoon drive to morning drive. And Wally actually went to afternoon drive to change his lifestyle. And it worked.
Yeah, it really did.
Now, let me throw a curveball. But in all these years of broadcasting, all these various sports we introduced, there's got to be many, many stories in all those years on a personal level, professional level. But what was one of the greatest moments you can recall as a broadcaster in doing the play-by-play?
Wow. That's not a curveball. That's a knuckleball.
Which is hard to do.
By the way, let me just say this about Father Greg. We try and meet once a month just to talk. Just talk.
Over breakfast.
Over breakfast. Father Greg knows more sports than anybody I've never met. I mean, it's like unbelievable.
I can't keep up with
You are awesome.
In fact, I tell people, if I knew theology like I know sports, I'd be a double doctor, which I'm not.
It's good.
But that's the truth.
I'll tell you what, there were so many stories. I mean, there was a story like during the Super Bowl with the Bears winning the Super Bowl
Back
over
in
New
85,
England.
yeah.
Back in '85. That whole team was crazy.
In those days, you were WGN.
I was.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And then we had a chance with the Bulls to go in and meet President Obama as a sitting president.
Wow.
And that was great because he knew all the players' names. I mean, he is a huge basketball fan. And so, I mean, you meet the president, and then you meet, all the wonderful athletes that have come. I mean, with the coaches and the GMs, and then you meet the Pope and whatnot. So it's been something that I never thought in my life. But again, all the glory goes to God. This isn't about me. This is about Jesus Christ and the Holy Spirit.
Did you ever lose it on the air, which means like with laughter?
Yes.
Tell us.
I mean, because I work with Bill Wennington, and if you've ever seen the movie, and if you haven't, you should go see it. It came out about maybe 20, 30 years ago with Tom Hanks. It's called Big.
Oh, I loved it.
Okay, and it's about an adult, and he goes to a fair. He becomes a kid, and Bill Wennington, who I love, solid Catholic man, by the way. He and Ann and Robbie, the family. And Bill is a big kid. He was a 3-time NBA champion, All-American at St. John's, McDonald's All-American. The people here in Chicago love him because he's one of us. I mean, he doesn't play the card, hey, I was an NBA player. He's just big Bill Wennington. And the great thing about Bill is that on the air, he is always authentic and genuine, and you just laugh. He just wants to keep things light. Because at the end of the day, let's be honest, I mean, we're talking about sports. We're not talking about, life issues that have a major decision in the direction your family's going or your career's going.
But you are providing people with an opportunity to deal with some of that stuff. To deal with those issues.
At least an escape for a couple hours.
Right.
Think about it. I think you had a good point there. I've known people who get so distraught after a loss.
Yes.
In baseball, football, basketball.
And I was that way as a kid. I'm not going to lie to you.
In fact, I think when I was a kid too, I'd get that way, kind of like ruin my day. And you got to put in perspective, it is a game. Now it's entertainment. It's fun. It can be an escape for a couple of hours. But it's not life and death.
You should see his mood when the Sox lose. Oh, it's terrible.
I've seen it. but again, we're talking about the passion, and Father Greg has it. I mean, the best thing, one of the great things about Father Greg, and there are so many great things, is during football, when he's doing a Sunday Mass, and at the end, you can always say, hey, and may the Bears beat the Steelers 110-0.
Or give you an update.
Or give you an update.
Or if it's the Packers, look out.
Yes.
Now, there's a real rivalry.
Yes. I know.
In fact, I remember once many Packer fans came up to me after a Mass once with a Green Bay jersey on. I said, go Bears beat the Pack today.
Yes.
And in fact, now here's a great story. That's what I got to share with you. Having the cathedral last fall. A new family in the cathedral parish. The guy who happens to be, I'm not going to leave his name, a great Packer fan, never met him before, comes up to me after Mass and says, Father Greg, I've been coming to Mass now with my wife for several months now, and you're always mentioning go Bears, go Bears. He said, I'm a big Packers fan, and that day they happened to be playing Packers and Bears. He said, I'll make you a bet. I'm like, okay. He says, if the Bears were at Green Bay, if the Bears win, I'll give the parish $10,000.
Wow.
If the Packers win, you're coming to our home for dinner.
Really?
I said, is this a trick question? I said, okay. Well, the Packers won in Green Bay, went to his home for dinner. Now it's playoff time. And again, Bears, Packers. And he said, Father, I'll make you a deal. He said, if the Bears win, I'll give the parish $10,000. If the Packers win, you come to our house for dinner again. I said, you're on. Well, the Bears won they won that game. And so the family gave the cathedral $10,000.
Wow.
True story. I've been a priest 47 years, never had a bet like that before.
When I was doing a talk show on WCFL, bringing myself from Columbus to Chicago and understanding the rivalry with the Bears and Packers, we were sponsored by Ferrara Pan Candy.
Oh, sure.
And it was Lemonhead candies. And the out cue was, don't be a Lemonhead, buy Lemonhead candies. And so I couldn't stand the Packers. So I told Ferrara Pan Candy to send not a box, but a crate of Lemonhead candies to the Green Bay Packers. And they did.
They did?
And they dropped it off in the locker room. This is a true story, because I talked to a former player who was with Green Bay at the time.
Crate of Lemonheads?
Yes. And there was a note saying, "Hey, good luck, Lemonheads." Chuck.
On that note, take us to break.
Yeah. When we come
That's
back,
funny.
let's talk a little bit, you alluded to it before, a little bit of your faith journey and your professional journey, how they parallel, and some
Sure.
of your experiences.
Yep.
That would be great. So we'll be back with Chuck Swirsky, Catholic Chicago, Father Greg Sacklitz, Mark Treacy. We'll talk a little bit about, it's so important for people to understand your faith journey.
Yes.
And we'll be back in a few minutes. Please stay tuned.
The Church needs compassionate and well-trained priests to help guide each of us through life.
What inspires me, what draws me always to the priesthood is continue to see priests be a beacon of hope for other people.
You can play a part in the education of these young men as they prepare for a life of service to others.
I want to be that beacon of hope too, and it sets my heart on fire.
To support our seminarians, make your gift at archchicago.org/seminarian fund or call 312-534-7959.
We're back, Catholic Chicago, Father Greg Sacklitz, Mark Treacy here with Chuck Swirsky, award-winning NBA announcer and a man of deep faith, which we're going to talk about in the second part of our program. Father Greg, you had a question.
And Chuck, a great friend. Chuck, explain what we just saw, the clip coming back into the second half.
With the Pope.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so as we know, I mean, Pope Leo, I'm going to be very transparent about this. I did not know when the Pope was announced he's an American. I thought, great. And then all of a sudden, he's from Chicago. And I thought, really? And then like 30 seconds later, hey, he's a Cubs fan. I'm thinking, really? And so all of a sudden, I'm on social media reading, yeah, he's a Cubs fan. Time out on the field. He is not a Cubs fan. He's a White Sox fan.
His mother was a Cubs fan.
Yes.
And his father was a Cardinals fan. And Pope Leo's little boy, Robert, was a White Sox fan.
Yes. So now he's a White Sox fan. And, we had an event, big event at with the White Sox Park. And so I started seeing these cutouts of Pope Leo in a White Sox jersey. They Photoshop. And I'm thinking, I somehow, some way, maybe I can get a Bulls jersey to the Pontiff. Hey, listen, he's from Chicago. He obviously grew up here, and he knows the Jordan era and even before then. So, I remember talking with Father Greg over lunch about this, and I said, how do I do this? He said, you know what, and by the way, I do not have the red phone. I won't let you know. I do not have direct access to anyone. I wrote a letter, and and waited, nothing happened. Zero happened. Next thing I know, I get a letter from the Vatican saying, hey, you're going to be invited to a general audience, not a one-on-one, but a general audience in November 5th. And so, I'm looking up, I'm Googling general audience, because I'm just Joe Bag of Donuts. I'm not Father Greg.
No.
So I see, what a general audience is all about. So I go to the team store and I get what you saw, the Red Bulls jersey, an authentic team worn jersey that the players wear. And so bottom line story is, I fly to Rome from New York. The Bulls had played the Knicks the night before. There was an air traffic controller issue, as you know, during that time. I was delayed 3 times. I get into Rome in Vatican City. I wait in line at security. I go through 2 security checks. I've got the letter. They have a code, a security code. You walk to the desk, you turn in your letter, they type in the code. The next thing I know, there is an envelope. And you open the envelope, and out comes a yellow ticket. And the person behind the desk, who's bilingual with Italian and English, and he goes, "You've got a ticket, a yellow ticket." And I said,
What does that mean?
I said, "I have no idea. Yellow ticket, Willy Wonka, whatever. Yellow ticket, blue ticket, red ticket." He goes, "No, you're on the stage, but there's no guarantee that you will meet Pope Leo." I said, "What?" I'm like, "What?" He goes, "You need to show up at 5:30 in the morning." This is all true story.
Wow.
So I'm waiting in line. There's only one person I told, and that was my direct supervisor with the Bulls, Susan Goodnow. And she said, "If you got a chance to go, go." And so we kept it hush. So I'm waiting in line, security, I go through the check. The presentation was at 11 o'clock.
Oh, wow.
And next thing I know, I get through. I have no idea where I'm going. And I tap a Swiss with a guard on the shoulder, and they've got, I mean, the gold and the purple and the green, and they got the flaps for the helmet. And I tapped him, and all of a sudden, someone from behind says, "You can't do that." I don't want to go to jail. I want to see the Pope. And so he goes, the security, they've got these black Armani suits, white starched shirt. They've got the thin black tie. They got the black sunglasses. It was like Men in Black, the movie.
Like Blues Brothers.
Yes, exactly. But Dan Aykroyd wasn't there. Anyway, so then they take me up near the stage. I'm literally second row where the Pope is 10 feet away.
Wow.
Yeah. And so he speaks 4 languages. He drives up in the Pope Mobile, presents at the end, and security said, "There's no guarantee you're going to meet the Pope." And I said, "Well, I'm this close. I could get the jersey to somebody who can get it to somebody who can get it to the Pope." And so after the presentation, the Pope met with the disability and special needs group, the newlyweds group, circled around, met with cardinals, and then the security says, 2 rows here, single file.
Whoa.
And so now I've got this jersey, and I'm thinking, I'm going to meet Pope Leo. And I mean, it's like on the same level of hearing a homily by Father Greg. So I'm just like.
I think you're stretching it a bit, but anyway.
I do too.
Yeah, you're right, AJ. But anyway,
Sorry to interrupt you.
You know I love you, Father. But bottom line is, so he taps me, the security person taps me on the shoulder, says, "Go ahead." So I bring up the jersey, and I'm thinking, this is surreal.
Yeah.
And I said, "Pope Leo, my name's Chuck Swirsky. I'm from Chicago. I flew in." He goes, "You flew in from Chicago?" I said, "Yes." And I said, "This a Chicago Bulls official jersey." He said, "Oh, this is beautiful." I said, "Thank you." And I showed Pope Leo the whole bit, and we talked about Portillo's. I said, see, he's chuckling right here, and I'll tell you why. I said, Pope Leo, if we could get a Portillo's here in Vatican City, it would go over really well. He liked
And that's the laugh.
Yes, that's the laugh. So I said, I couldn't bring in Aurelio's pizza, his famous pizza, but I told him that the Bulls were in first place and that we had come from behind 24 points last night to beat Philadelphia. We were 6-1. And I mean, Pope Leo was great. And so after that.
Your interaction was with what, about 1 or 2 minutes with him?
Yes, about 2 minutes. Talked about Cardinal Supich. I said that Father Greg Sakowicz is our rector at Holy Name Cathedral, very familiar with, obviously, with Chicago and Holy Name. And, Cardinal Supich is Cardinal Supich, and Father Greg is Father Greg. So we get escorted off the stage. And Once you're off, you're off.
But did you notice he escorted you off once you mentioned Father Greg?
That's true.
Swiss guard.
I was going to say that. You know, hey, I know Father Greg Sackwich.
Boom.
You're out of here. Okay, that's enough. It's been a pleasure. Later.
Yeah, exactly.
Next.
You could have had 4 minutes.
That's right. We cut you from 3 minutes to 1.
But thank you for coming.
Yeah,
from
thank
Chicago.
you for coming. So then I'm walking back and I'm thinking, no one's going to believe that I gave the Pope a Bulls jersey. And so, because I was so focused on,
Well, who took the pictures?
well, apparently someone from the Vatican took pictures, but I didn't see them. Maybe they had a drone, maybe there was someone on the side, but I didn't. The next thing I know, I'm back in my hotel room. I'm mentally exhausted. I'm physically exhausted.
tired.
And the next thing I know, I'm getting tons of calls. You didn't say you were in Rome. You met the Pope. I said, what? How did you know that? Was it Photoshop? No, I'm in Rome. Well, it's on the Vatican website. The picture you just saw, this picture was on the front page of the Vatican website.
Really?
Yes, it was.
It made the Chicago papers too.
Yes, it did.
Now, you have such enthusiasm, not only for that visit, but for your faith. Tie it together for our viewers. How did that visit impact you in terms of what you believe? And I mean, there's such an energy you have about
Well, I'll tell you what fires me up is that when you can talk openly about your faith and not make your life the most important element in the world. Because to me, as disciples, we are called upon to share the good news of the gospel of Jesus Christ. So, as a kid, my mom's a parochial school teacher. We went to Mass every Sunday. We went to confession, Holy Communion, confirmation, everything. And I love my faith. Now, my faith has got me through some very, very difficult times. And trust me, I've had a lot of potholes in my life. I only through the grace of God can I even be at this forum with two of you today. And I'll tell you one thing, and I mean this sincerely, and I hope people understand this. You never give up hope if you trust in God, because life is not a straight line. And everyone has issues. Everyone has troubles. There is no such thing as a perfect life because we have challenges. And I'll say this, I'm looking at the camera right now. Without Father Greg, he got me through a very, very difficult time, extremely difficult time in my personal life. And there were depths of despair. And Father Greg stayed the course about trusting in God, praying, embrace what the Holy Spirit has to offer, and never give up hope. And I think that's one thing that we should all believe in, is trusting in God, never give up hope. That's not to say that we're going to get everything we pray for, and nor should we, because the Lord's plan is perfect, certainly not mine.
And along those lines, and thank you, Chuck, and that is a great line goes like this. No one can go back and start a new beginning, but starting today, you can make a new ending with the help and grace of God.
Yes.
It was 15 years ago. He anointed me. I didn't know if I was going to stick around or not.
Wow.
Yeah,
And
Mark
that
was
gives
dying.
you hope.
Yes.
Yeah.
That let go, let God.
Yeah, and I just think in our lives, the ups and downs roller coaster, but God runs after us. And so many times we say, well, God, where are you? God is always present. We're the ones who wander or drift. And as you mentioned, every prayer will not be answered because sometimes we get in our own way. And to trust God, and if things happen in life, death of a loved one, a divorce, house burns down, we don't have answers for that.
But tell Chuck what you won't say at the beginning when you say, people say about prayer, let us place ourselves.
Oh yeah, the thing that is, many times you'll hear someone say, okay, before prayer, let us put ourselves in the presence of God before we pray. That's wrong. Think about it. If you say, let us put ourselves in the presence of God, has God been absent? God is never absent. I always say, let us be aware of the presence of God already in our lives. If we say, let's put ourselves in the presence of God, okay, where's God been? Absent? God's never absent. We're sometimes absent from God, but let's be aware of the presence of God in our lives at all moments and that makes a difference. We need to bring the program to a close. I can't believe it's a half hour already. I want to thank in a very special way.
Thank you so much.
Outstanding guest.
This was awesome.
Chuck Swirsky, you're a man of deep faith, a dear friend, a great gift to Cathedral family. So Chuck, thank you. Keep up your great work. And Bulls begin season when?
Mid-October.
Mid-October.
Yes.
And you would have had 2 more minutes with the Pope if you didn't bring up.
I figured about my name. It threw things off, especially
No,
like
thank you
also my
again.
dear
This was
friend,
fun. Thank you.
Mark Teresi,
Appreciate it.
as usual. So to Mark and to Chuck and to our director, producer, choreographer, Michael May and Clint Cottrell, great job as usual. To our listeners, may God bless all of you this year. Go Bulls coming up. Go Bears. Go White Sox. Go Cubs. Amen.